Niall Horan just gave us an inside scoop on what it was like to live with some of his former 1D bandmates, and some Directioners believe that he just revealed some major clues about an upcoming reunion. Let's get into it. So we all got to see the birth of One Direction 11 years ago as each of its 5 members came together on the X Factor and life was never the same again. And adjusting to newfound fame is no easy task, as Niall went into detail about during his recent appearance on the podcast People, Just People, hosted by his pal and X Factor presenter Dermot O'Leary. After being catapulted into superstardom seemingly overnight, Niall explained that one of the first things that took some getting used to was their living arrangement. The Irish crooner shared how 6 or 8 months after 1D's conception, all 5 members moved into the same apartment complex in London. And for those wondering which 2 members actually shared the same unit at this complex, Niall went on to add,
we split off into, I lived in my own, Zayn lived in his own, Liam lived in his own, Harry and Louis had a bigger place, so they shared that. And it was kind of like, we're all in this complex. Yeah.
All right, show of hands, how many guessed right? I see you Larry shippers, y'all must be ecstatic right now. But seriously, can you imagine how cool it would have been to be their neighbors at this apartment building? Let's be honest, we would have never stopped borrowing a cup of sugar from them. But anyway, back to reality. During this conversation, Niall also opened up about the moment he realized just how massive they had become as a boy band. He recounted around the release of What Makes You Beautiful was when it really kicked off. We did a HMV run around the UK, which is when I first saw the madness. Niall added that they started making appearances all across Europe, and it was in Milan, Italy when he, along with the band, experienced what he referred to as proper hysteria. He described the scene as being in the middle of the city when suddenly thousands of fans showed up banging on the car window, and not much after that, they also began camping outside the hotels that they were staying at. And speaking of hardcore Directioners, some of them are claiming that Niall dropped some very telling hints about a possible 1D reunion on his latest Instagram post. Some of us were too busy looking at Niall's subtle nod to Zayn Malik trying to strike his signature raised eyebrow pose, but some eagle-eyed fans zeroed in on the rest of the images in his photo dump. For example, take that snap of the studio where we can clearly see artwork on the wall of a baby wearing headphones. Yep, as it turns out, this is the same music studio where Liam Payne posted a picture of himself recording his first solo tracks back in 2017. The running rumor back in the day was that the image of the baby on the wall was a tribute to Liam's soon-to-be-born baby, Bear. You want more proof that Liam could have recently been spending some time in the studio with Niall? Well, there's also this pic of someone wearing a pair of sneakers from Hugo and Liam Payne 2019 collection that Niall shared on his IG stories. Next, we have the yellow electric guitar hanging on one of the walls of this same studio, which is identical to the one Harry has played on many of his performances, like his Today Show gig in 2017. Fans also spotted the platinum record for Made in the AM hung up on the wall, which, as y'all know, was the band's 5th album and their final release before they went on an indefinite hiatus. And finally, going back to that pic with what seems to be Liam's sneakers, we also noticed the classic keyboard, which happens to be the same one that Niall played during the making of Made in the AM. But before we even began to truly get our hopes up, Niall was quick to burst our bubble, tweeting, "There's nothing to know. It's literally a picture of a pair of sunglasses on a piano." Well, at least Niall let us know that he's currently working on what will be his 3rd solo album, so not all hope is lost, and we can definitely imagine him telling us. But speaking of collabs, click right over here to find out what Katy Perry said about working with Taylor Swift, and then let me know your thoughts on everything we covered down in the comment section below. I'm your host, Emil Ennis Jr. You can find me on Instagram at Emil Ennis Jr. Now see you soon. Bye guys.